The TFCC podcast, brought to you by Bespoke Cricket, Rutland's premium cricket brand. For the best bats, pads and gloves, check out bespoke-cricket.co.uk.
Hi and welcome to the TFCC podcast, The Life of a Cricket Coach. I'm Tom Flowers, ECB Level 4 Specialist Coach and Head Coach and Owner and Director of the TFCC Group Limited. This podcast is designed for the next few weeks, months, whatever it might be, just to give you an insight into what the life of a cricket coach is, what we do, what the trials, tribulations, challenges, whatever it is you might be facing. I want to give you an insight into it. With that, we'll give you some guests, some weekly themes. We'll have people talking about relevant topics, what's in the news, etc. But ultimately, I want it to be kept towards cricket coaching at a local level, looking upwards. So we work at ground level at TFCC in the non-professional environment, and I want to give it very much the USP that this is about what goes on outside of the professional game, but actually realising that it feeds into it, and what starts at this level really has a positive and long-lasting impact as we move through the ranks into the professional game. Why have I decided to give this a go? So the feedback we got during the lockdown, we did coffee and cricket. So TFCC did Facebook Live coffee and cricket. We looked at regular themes on a weekly basis. We got real engagement and enthusiasm from the local cricket community. Guys who are involved in the grassroots of the game, exactly where we work, where we earn our crust, if you like, working in local cricket with volunteers, groundsmen, coaches, etc., whatever it might be. And it really did show that there was an appetite for discussion, for debate, for interactions between cricketers at the recreational level. And I'm hoping that a slightly different twist on this is going to be more from a coach's angle. So as a head coach, level 4 coach, I'm going to give you a perspective from my side looking outwards, but I'm hoping that we can challenge some of them views and get guys to come in and talk to us as well about what their viewpoints are. So the coffee and cricket was a massive success. We had international cricketers on, ex-international cricketers, academy coaches. We had a massive range of people joining us. So I hope that we can continue to whet your appetite for cricket, for local cricket, for cricket coaching, and give you a bit of inspiration into potentially finding out a few new things, doing things differently, questioning how you go about different bits and bobs. But the title really, A Life of a Cricket Coach, because I wanted to give you guys an insight into exactly what it is that we do. You would not believe, if I got £10 for every time somebody said to me of an evening at a club session, for example, or a one-to-one, so what do you do the rest of the time, Tom? And a lot of the guys have absolutely no idea. So I'm hoping you can get a bit of an insight into myself and how we operate, challenges we face, obstacles we overcome, and what our day looks like. So typical day for us, well, it's just gone 12 o'clock now, and we've got 3 school jobs going out. One of the guys is at Loughborough Grammar, another's going over to Oakham, and another one going over to Oundle School. So if you look at our term time, a lot of the guys are out doing independent school cricket coaching jobs, and I think that's on the back of the fact that we've been going for nearly 7 years now, and the idea that we can go in as contractors, if you like, and provide a professional, reliable and service, and the positives being that if there's an illness, we still get cover, people aren't left high and dry, and we've got guys that are coaching on a day-to-day basis, delivering 7 days of the week. So it's the professional element that I know we can bring to schools and add to their. We talk about added value in schools, and I'll touch on that later on in the bit. I want to talk about our residential programme. But so that's going out today. We've then got so I've been sitting down this morning, going through some emails. I had a call with Oakham School, another call with Oundle School. I've had a couple of clubs call me about their plans for the first sessions of the week. So obviously a lot of our club sessions are kicking off at the moment, which is great. And yeah, that's sort of what the morning looks like. Amongst that, we try and obviously then encourage staff pre-12 o'clock. If a staff's working of an evening, they tend to start 12 o'clock. So mornings are sort of the staff's own, if you like. A bit different myself as the sort of business owner, director. But the coaches tend to have the mornings to themselves, and they sort of start midday. Lots of administration to go through, emails to answer, dealing with our customer base, one-to-one inquiries, schools, social media, any websites, etc. So there's loads that goes on behind the scenes here at TFCC. Our office is over in Bilston. Just to give you an insight into what that looks like. So usually we have 6 of us in there. We've got 6 full-time staff. That includes an apprentice coach as well. So there's 6 of us, and at any one time there could be up to 6 there. And it's the great thing about what we do is every day is different. One day guys are auditing kit, the next day they're selling the kit. One day they could be dealing with a parental complaint, the next day they could be dealing with a 5-star Google review from a different parent. So it really does show you that the demand for high level cricket coaching outside of the professional environment is as great as it's ever been. And I think that what we at TFCC do is we've established a foothold in the cricket coaching business whereby we customers get what they pay for. They get the consistency, they get the reliability, and they get the highest level form of coaching, I believe, outside of county cricket clubs, and sometimes better than in some cases. So I think that the important thing is that we continue to support the county cricket clubs as we do. We've got a fantastic relationship at Northants that's developed as their preferred coaching supplier. Relations at Leicestershire are developing. There's a lot of guys down there who we get on particularly well with. Andy Hibbard, always goes out his way. He's an old friend of mine. Ali Maiden, who recently departed academy coach, was great in creating some progress there. Claude Henderson, an old friend of mine, trained and played a bit with Claude, and obviously Paul Nixon. So there's guys down there that are wanting to form and keep developing that relationship. And I came off the email recently this morning to the chief exec, Sean Jarvis, and we have got a meeting with him, which is fantastic news because I think that there is a lot of synergy there in local cricket. We all work in the same, for the same reasons, I hope, which is to develop participation, increasing numbers, both boys and girls, getting people playing that aren't playing, getting people active. And there's a place for both the public and the private sectors with that, and I think that we all have a role to play. If the demand wasn't there, as I often say, if the demand wasn't there, then we wouldn't have jobs. So the demand is there. So why not fill it and embrace each other? And I'm hoping that we can all put steps forward in making that happen, and I'm hoping of a positive conversation with Sean. So I will obviously get back to you guys on how that's gone. Okay, so I guess TFCC, 7 years now? 7 years in July, end of June, July that we've been going. And it's, people often say to me, how did you manage to get this? How did you think of it? Did you decide one day you're going to be a coach, or you're going to set up a business, or you're going to, employ 6 coaches or turn over X amount? No, we didn't. I had an idea that there was as any business idea, that there's a clear gap in the market and there's a demand for it. My own knowledge of the cricket market, I guess, or the cricketing world, I pretty much know it inside out, I'd say, from a ground level upwards, having been involved in all levels of the game since the age of 6 years old. Contacts come into it, but ultimately it's graft and it's hard work, and I think that what guys fail to see on the outside sometimes is the effort, the time, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the detriments to my own health at times, which I'll touch on in future podcasts, but which is a constant battle for me, and I've been quite open about that. But I'm in a privileged position. I get to work with cricket, I get to work with cricketers. I am a coach for a living, and that is a complete, as I say to all our staff at TFCC, it's a privileged position we are in. The guys know that. They know how lucky they are to work in sport, and if you know that, you don't take it for granted. And every session we deliver, every lesson, every club session, we deliver to the maximum of our ability. I'll touch more on our values of the company at some point in the future, but we are looking at things such as professionalism, communication, honesty, respect. They are our core values as a coaching company, and I think that can be seen from the outside too. So look, we're here. I have to meet my demands for the salaries and the wages. That's a given. but so do the professional cricket clubs. They pay their coaches. So I think that it's a very naive attitude to suggest that coaching shouldn't be paid for and that these things should be offered for free. To look back over the last 6 or 7 years and say, you know what, we've had a real difference there. I'll give you an example. So we'll come on to club cricket. So Lutterworth, they've got us involved now right from quicks all the way through to the adult section. They actually lost their opening game at the weekend, but it's a great example of where forget the financial, no one works for free, but that's a given, and I have to remind certain characters of that in the last few years, in the public sector, as I call it, so community sector. But to see them doing as they are doing with our assistance, and to know we've had an impact at all levels throughout the club, and the synergy that's brought to the club is great. And that's what makes us tick. We like to see progress. We like to see clubs doing well. We like to see clubs doing it the right way. And well done to Sam Blockley, who got his first senior 100, I think, on Saturday in the Premier League. So Sam, real well done to you, buddy. So we just finished our Easter camps. Absolute chaos the last 4 weeks. So we've seen over 200 children, around about 200 children, who are cricket mad and they want to spend their Easters playing cricket, which is brilliant. We've had big numbers at Burley Park, Oakham Cricket Club. We had our residential at Oakham School, which I'll touch on in a moment. But Easter camps have gone really well. The staff Easter's a very long period because we get a lot of one-to-one requests. We get a lot of guys realising it's cricket season now, as soon as April gets here. And the demand on the staff shouldn't be underestimated. A lot of customers will only see the staff for their 1 hour session or for their 2 hour club session. Often that staff member's been out delivering camps all day and they go and do one-to-ones, club sessions. They've got their own administration to do as well. So don't underestimate the efforts of my coaching team during the holiday weeks, because it's not just the holiday stuff they're delivering, it's everything else that's going on. So we're back now, obviously, in what we call term time timetable. So we're back delivering school sessions. That is really enjoyable for our guys coaching, because they can really focus on getting to know new guys that might not access us through our affiliated clubs, but also they get to interact and learn off other coaches within a different sector that they can perhaps learn from. So I encourage them to keep reflecting, keep learning from each other, keep learning from the coaching staff. So it's a really valuable experience. The more environments I can get them in, the better. What motivates me to get up every day and do what we do? People will ask me that, you're working, going cricket club, etc., etc. But what motivates me is the difference that we're making. And I think that I know we're making a difference. If you add up the hours we put into local cricket, what that has effect on participation. I now see guys moving into adult cricket. I've seen guys make academy debuts, second team debuts that I've worked with. I've got guys who are in first class cricket now from my old school coaching days who I've had an influence on. It's great to know that you've impacted these in some sort of way. And that's definitely something that as a business we value, is that every interaction, however small, the long-lasting impact of that. The day you delivered at Burley Park on a cold Easter 6th of April might be the greatest memory that kid has of their childhood when 15 years on. So it's about creating memories and about realising the impact you have as a coach. And I'm not sure enough coaches out there value the longer-term impacts and lasting impressions they may have on youngsters. Motivations for me, I think, with the coaching business are a number of things, really. Like I said, participation, getting them access to levels of coaching and experiences that they wouldn't have access to otherwise. And what I mean by that is that lots of the services and things that, high level coaching, residentials, tours that we do previously would only be accessible for the elite players. And I think that something we've tried to do with the values that we have, whether it be our pricing structure or offering concessionary places for guys who are on low incomes, there's lots of things we've done that we don't shout about, but it's in line with my values. I'm a state educated guy myself. I always say the story. I went to Loughborough University with cricket. I did struggle with some of the characters there because I was state school educated through and through, and it was a bit of an eye-opener. To then go on and work in the private sector was a big shift for me, but I've seen it from both sides. And I was the only state-educated youngster quite a while ago when I got my cricket scholarship at Loughborough University, who was in that first team. So for me, I've not lost sight of them roots, and I think that if I can give every youngster the same time, and I think that's the big thing for me, it's giving them the time and experience that whatever background you're from, yes, you may have to pay for it, but that's the same whether you go to nursery, childcare, music lessons, go out for the cinema and Nando's once a week, and I'm not a fan of Nando's, but you could probably get a couple of lessons for the price of a Nando's, to be fair. But my point being is we treat everyone the same regardless of background, gender, experience, education, and I think that's absolutely crucial not to lose sight of that fact. Our residential at Oakham School was unbelievable. We got 20 youngsters overall. We had kids from all over Europe. We had 2 guys from Sweden, came from Stockholm. We had youngsters from Guernsey. We've got guys from Scotland signed up next. It really is a massive progressive service that we know we can offer, because actually outside of academies and county age groups and schools, where else can you go and experience and be treated like a cricketer for a week and have access to specialist coaches? You can have access to we've got a psychologist who worked at Team GB, comes in and a bit of work with the guys. We've got some S&C work. We've got a local chef who teaches the guys how to cook quick and simple meals for cricket. And not only that, the facilities the guys get access to, level 3, 4 coaches. It's something that the driver behind that is just offering something that if you're not at the county level, if you're not at that privileged level where you've managed to get to that, or you're lucky enough to go to one of the top independent schools, how else do you get this? And I'm really pleased that we've managed to hit a market there that gives these youngsters an experience they don't miss out on. And you know what, if they look back on that and go, the Tom Flowers Cricket Camp was unbelievable. 2019 Oakham School was the greatest summer I spent. My cricket was great, but more importantly, I met like-minded people. We had a great time. The cricket was brilliant. That's what it's about for us. So we've got another one at Oakham in July, which should be popular again. And then obviously we've got Oundle School, which is a new venue, new venture. We do a lot of work on the Oundle School in the week, so we're hoping that will be popular, and obviously great facilities there as well. So a little bit on club cricket. It's been a bit of a mixed loyalties this week for us, because our head coach, Ben, as you know, is director of cricket at Houghton and Thurmby, his local club. He's sort of their paid pro there, and director of cricket. And my home club being Barkby, they happened to play each other. Of course, they'd on the first game of the season. And the difference, I was told, was my youngest brother, who managed to get 60 odd, probably an interesting wagon wheel, but he did pretty well, I understand. And it's good to hear that, because we've done a lot of work, me and him, in the past especially about batting against spin, and to hear that he's playing spin really well is a real positive for me. I think that's what motivates me, just again, whether it's my brother or not, hearing improvement in players and knowing you've made a difference. But what I would say is it was a good game of cricket, I think, and I do think them 2 clubs, it's great to see Barkby back on the straight and narrow, and there's lots that's gone on behind the scene there, and I do wish the club the very best for this season. I do think Houghton and Thurmby are doing a hell of a lot right. As my dad says, there's a lot going on right at that club, and I respect my dad when it comes to opinions massively in local cricket, and I do wish Ben and his team the best for the season. Okay, finally, just a little announcement from TFCC for this week. Ben Silver, obviously our level 3 performance coach, head coach at TFCC, has, you'll recently know, got himself a great role with the ECB Disability Cricket, and he is the head PD coach, physical disability coach for England, which is fantastic, because it's going to open up many opportunities for Ben to further enhance his experiences and his own skill set as a coach. I think it'll be a real challenge for Ben, and I've spoken to him about that in sort of an unofficial mentoring capacity, which is what I've tried to do with him in the last sort of 4 or 5 years. What I would say about Ben, it's worth noting, is that when it comes to work ethic towards his coaching, it's second to none. And a lot of guys I've been quick to shoot down who have suggested that he's been fortunate to get into a position at a young age. I guess in today's cancelling world, that'd be called ageist, wouldn't it? But we'll leave that one for another time. I suggested that nothing comes through without hard work, and if you'd seen, people don't see the hours of dedication, how seriously he's a student of his coaching. He studies his coaching. He questions what I do. He's debating cricket a lot. the time he's volunteered, and the big difference with him, it's the time that it's what we call sort of, you've heard of the saying paying back, so it's payback for X amount, and I've often been guilty of saying, oh well, that's payback for this. And what Ben does really well, which is what I admire, is he's paying forward, and I don't think he'd probably view it like that, but all the hours, the 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there of discussions, 2 hours there, a weekend here of volunteering, whatever it might be, just to keep him rounded and develop his coaching attributes and the way he goes about it. I think don't underestimate what goes on behind the scenes. The 6 a.m. starts, the 7 a.m. starts, the late nights in sports till 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. Nothing comes without hard work and graft. So I wanted to get on record that well done, Ben, from myself and the rest of the coaching team. We're all very proud of you, and we look forward to hearing about how the ECB disability job goes for you this summer and beyond. We wish you all the best, bud, and keep learning, keep listening, and keep reflecting, mate. Right, guys, that brings to an end our first podcast at TFCC, The Life of a Cricket Coach. Hope you've enjoyed today's episode. If you did like it, if you could just subscribe, and leave us a bit of a review, that would be fantastic. We do want to try and get numerous guests in, but we also want listeners, whoever's listening in, to actually get something out of this. So if there's any topics or anything you think would be worthwhile going through, please do let us know. But for now, have a great week, go well, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Cheers.
If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to leave us a review and follow us so you never miss an episode.